Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car riding your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast is now on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast and click that subscribe button to never miss an episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. I think I said that right. EP for short. There you go. So my name is Wrestling Chris G. I am one of your hosts, and joining me, like always, is my good old best friend. He's the one that's always there for me. It's Dougie Fresh. Dougie, man, how you doing?
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Yes, it is Christmas season, Hanukkah, winter holidays. I'll just put winter. It is the winter holidays, and it's the tail end of it.
I was waiting on you. I was like, if he says it, I'm not going to say it. You didn't say it, so I had to say
it. So me and Doug celebrate. We do celebrate Christmas.
I celebrate Kwanzaa. I don't know what you're talking about,
bro. But yeah, so I know a lot of people get all up in arms when people say it, but I was born in the 90s when it wasn't a big thing to say it and have people roll their eyes. So Merry Christmas, everybody. And if you don't celebrate it, Merry whatever you do celebrate.
Well, according to we're allowed to say that now.
Oh, really?
We weren't allowed to say that, but when he came in, the ban was lifted, so we've been able to say it apparently for like 4 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So today is the very special movie episode. Today we are reviewing Pokemon the movie, I Choose You, the 20th animation film from the Pokemon series. And me and Doug actually just finished watching it within the past few hours ourselves. And it's time to review this sucker, Doug.
Well, give yourself a little more credit. You were a little more on the ball than I was.
Why do you say that?
Because I literally just finished. You've had it watched.
Yeah, I watched it. What was it, like a few months ago, and I just rewatched it again today. Took a little bit of notes that I didn't want to miss, like character names. I didn't want to get certain things wrong. So
you got me 2-1. I tried to be slick on my watch.
You did. Until the theme song came on, and you found out that they're putting part of the story in the theme song.
I was like, I was playing a game, right? I'm not gonna, try to get around it. I was trying to multitask, and I was like, gee, this theme song has an extra line that hasn't been there in the 20 odd episodes I've watched. It's like, gee, that's weird. And I looked down and fucking Ash is fucking in the middle of battling Caterpie, and I was like, motherfucker. So I had to stop what I was doing. I had to backtrack on good old Netflix. Fuck.
Oh, yeah, fun stuff. So this movie is a what I guess we will call it on this podcast a reimagination of the original Kanto series that me and Doug are currently reviewing on the show. And basically this was a lot of what ifs. What if Ash never met Brock and Misty? What if he did meet them, they didn't follow him on his journey? What happened after Ho-Oh flew over the skies in the original episode of Pokemon? We actually get to see the trainers choosing their first Pokemon at the beginning of this, where Ash was late too. So it's a lot of similarity, but a shit ton of difference. Like you didn't know how to really feel, Doug, after watching this movie.
No, if you'd have had a camera on me while I was trying to watch this, well, not trying, I mean, I got it watched, but when I was watching this, I went through like 5 different emotions, and that's not including when fucking Pokemon tried to be sneaky on you and started trying to pluck those heartstrings. There was multiple occasions where I said, fuck this movie, like out loud.
Yeah, you get everything in this movie. You get sad emotions from death. Like they actually introduced death into this movie. You get action, you get betrayal, you get you get everything. You get a lot of happiness out of this movie. You get frustrated by a 10-year-old boy, and since he's not mature yet, the decisions that he makes. Like you get a whole bunch of stuff in this movie, and it's all compiled into 90 minutes.
Yeah, and they still rushed parts of it.
Yeah, they did. And we'll definitely get into that. So obviously there's no Who's That Pokemon. I guess if you want us to do a Who's That Pokemon, I would choose Pikachu for this episode. Is that who you would choose, or would you choose a different Pokemon?
No, I would go a little more outside the box.
Oh, okay. What would you choose?
I would choose Ho-Oh.
You know what? I will fully agree with you, because this movie does revolve around Ho-Oh, even though Ho-Oh only makes, out of the 90 minutes in this movie, probably is in only like 10 minutes of this episode.
That was good enough for Horsey a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, true. So yeah, we'll put that as the Who's That Pokemon. This movie premiered in Japan on, let's see, on July 6th at the Japan Expo, but officially it was released on July 15th in Japan and premiered out here in the States in theaters on November 5th.
Where is the Japan Expo?
I'm sorry?
Where is the Japan Expo?
It's in Japan.
No, it's not. It's in France.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No, oh, shit. Taking place in Paris, France, although it is branched into partnership of the festival. Oh, shit. You're right.
Sometimes you got to click these Wikipedia links.
I just was like, oh, Japan.
What do you mean you want to update? You've updated the anyway, you can wait.
It had about an hour and 20 minutes to update, and
it had all the time it wanted. You can wait now.
So, all right. So
popped up all cocky and shit. But it ain't. No. You don't get to do that now.
So
right off. Now,
I know.
If I disappear on you,
you'll
know I pulled you from a couple days ago.
Yes. So, we are still going to hold up to our tradition. It was up for debate, but we're not going to break tradition. We are going to do a on this date for the U.S. version. So we picked November 5th, the day that it was released in theaters out here. And this movie was out in theaters for a whopping 2 days.
A whole 2 days.
And this movie ended up grossing $37.6 million worldwide, once it was released everywhere.
That's impressive.
And in Japan, this movie made, let's see, it said this film grossed $37.6 million worldwide and $3.31 billion in Japan, and received mixed reviews from critics. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, what do they want? It's a Pokemon movie.
Yes.
It's not like it's a goddamn Marvel movie.
For real. But but this is, I mean, maybe someone can clarify, and I did do homework, but it says on here this made $3.31 billion in Japan, which that can't be right if it made 37.6 million worldwide.
Well, that's just all kinds of messed up because I don't know. That's weird.
That's very weird. So that's wiki for you, everybody. So, all right. So me and Doug both have on this date. So Doug, are you going first this time, or am I going first? Because mine happened 10 years ago, in 2010, actually.
Mine happened in 1968.
Okay, so you're going first.
Right.
So go ahead, Doug.
Yeah. So on this date in 1968, November 5th, Denny McLain of the Detroit Tigers wins the American League Most Valuable Player Award. This is notable because, well, for one, he's a pitcher, and, you know, they do have their own award. So for a pitcher to win Most Valuable Player, not just the Cy Young, is pretty notable. But he won the award in a year where he won 31 games as a pitcher, which, you know, to qualify for a win, you have to go 5 complete innings, and, you know, your team has to have the lead and, you know, not lose it. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the type of podcast to get bogged down into pitching stats. He was the first pitcher to win 30 games in a major league season since 1924. And if you're ever bored and you Google pitching wins in a single season by pitcher, you're just going to see some stupid shit, like in the early to mid 1800s. You got motherfuckers out there winning 60 games a year because there was no fucking bullpen. So if you started the game, you finished it one way or the other.
Okay.
And, you know, because, I mean, you know, like, for a point of reference, the World Series just ended, and, like, you'd see, like, it got to the point where they had to institute a rule where, okay, if a pitcher comes in, he has to face 3 batters, because it was getting to the point where it's like, dude would come in, throw one pitch, get an out, and the fucking manager would come out and pull a guy, because, you know, you're playing matchups. So, yeah.
Of course.
But, yeah, so that was just kind of a, and I believe that's the highest total since. I don't think anybody's come anywhere near 31 games in the modern game, and that's probably, like, in the modern game, it's a feat somebody hits 20. Because, you know, you just don't see it. I mean, with injuries and with specialized bullpens the way they are, you know, a guy goes 7 innings, you pat him on the butt and tell him he had a good game. And then, you know, you bring in a guy that can throw 99 and not even think about it. So.
All right.
Pitching ain't what it used to be.
No, not at all. So mine's a little more to, I guess you can call it home, because we do a wrestling podcast, if we haven't mentioned that a million times on this podcast. But mine was 10 years ago, from this date in 2010, WWE presented Cyber Sunday for the first time with an attendance of 228,000. Oh, no.
Wait
I'm
a
sorry.
minute. Hold on. Hold on just about 5 seconds there, cowboy.
I'm sorry. Of about 7,000 with 228,000 watching from home.
I see.
So, let's see.
Where was it?
This was at the U.S. Bank Arena in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Good old Cleveland. Well,
yes.
Cincinnati.
And the main event of this show was King Booker defeating John Cena and The Big Show in a triple threat match to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. And the fans selected the championship belt to be at stake with 67%, followed by ECW for 21%, and the WWE Championship for 12%.
Oh, gotcha. Those were the three top champions in the brand, and then okay, gotcha.
And we got to choose who got to fight in the main event. So basically, the ECW and WWE champion got a night off.
No, wait a minute, no.
Oh,
No. Cena was WWE and Big Show was ECW.
Champion. But King Booker's title was the one that was on the line because of what people voted. Okay, gotcha.
So we weren't, you said this was 2008?
2010.
2000. So we weren't quite at Cena sucks just yet.
Mm-mm.
Because if this was like, maybe what, a year later, we're going, get the WWE belt off Cena.
Actually, yes, because actually it was later that year because that was the year that.
Oh shit! That's the year he killed the Nexus at SummerSlam.
Yes.
Oh shit!
So that's when the Cena suck chant started, and it followed him for the rest of his career. It was just the thing to do.
Yeah, but he's embraced it now, so it's not as fun.
Ooh, that's a rated RKO at defeated Degeneration X on this show.
Oh yeah, it was in the middle of that feud. What was the stip there?
Let's see. The returning Eric Bischoff, 60% was the fans' choice for special guest referee over Jonathan Coachman and Vince McMahon.
Eric Bischoff won over Vince McMahon.
Yes.
I mean, Coachman can fuck right off, but Eric Bischoff won over Vince McMahon. That's surprising.
So, but yeah, that's our history segment, and this movie is long enough, so I think it's about time that we jump into this sucker of a movie, Bo.
I cannot believe that you're the first person to tie wrestling back.
I am
disappointed.
Are you now?
I'm a little bit disappointed, yeah.
You thought you were going to be the first?
And I probably have missed some good ones, but they don't pop up on the websites I go to frequently for dates, so.
And I just out of the blue was like, what happened on this day in wrestling? And all of these things, ECW and all this stuff popped up. So, I mean, we do a wrestling podcast, so I'm surprised that we haven't talked it yet.
Do we?
I know. I mean, we haven't done it in like 5 weeks now. We kind of got to get back into it. So, but as of this recording, we will be back next week. But everyone already kind of knows that by now, listening to our show.
That's true. This is like weird timeline because this isn't going out for another couple of months, and then we'll be back. This is weird.
Yeah. So Lily, like 2 months from the time that we're recording this is when this one is getting released. Wow. So if this editing is not good, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't see why it wouldn't be.
So,
you're pretty good at what you do.
I am. If people didn't know, I am the editor of these shows. I like to wear that crown.
So if they are shit.
It's not my fault. I try my best. So, all right, I went ahead and I hit the good old play button, and Netflix is thinking, and it's scrolling through its library, and it's getting ready to pop up for me. But, let's see. Pika. There we go. Movie is on. And this movie starts off looking over a huge stadium. And I'm going to pause this real quick here because every time we go back to the original series, I mean, I feel like they've done this a few times, a few different ways. And we always get this intro, which was introduced in red, blue, and green version of the Pokemon game. And it's Blastoise versus Gengar getting ready to have their battle. But this time we actually get to see the damn battle. And how satisfying was this for you, bro?
That was pretty interesting. Like this literally starting off, I was like, this is dope because we never get to see how this plays out. And it's just kind of cool.
Yeah. So we're not going to go cut by cut, but Blastoise and Gengar battle it out. Gengar gets the best of Blastoise, and the trainer has to take it back. And
did it trip you out that Blastoise used an ice attack?
Yes, it did. But they've introduced a lot into the Pokemon games. Like in Pokemon Go, next week they're introducing Electabuzz with Flamethrower, and they're introducing who's the fire Pokemon? This is gonna bug me, so I'm gonna look it up real quick while we're doing this. All right. Pokemon Go events.
So as you're doing that, so we don't have too much dead air, the
Magmar. Magmar.
I see.
And Magmar is getting the electric attack.
So the trainer has to call out Venusaur, and then Venusaur uses Solar Beam, and Blastoise uses, what was it, Water Cannon?
Yes.
And the two attacks meet in the middle, and as they meet, the battle zooms out to show that it's being seen on a television, which it's a bigger television than the than the pilot, but not by much. And Ash is in the room, kind of shadow boxing to the match, which is weird. He's like, "Ooh, get him!" This and that and the other. And then the narrator goes kind of through. This is Ash Ketchum. He's going to be 10 years old, and at 10 years old, trainers have the option of picking their first Pokemon and starting out on their Pokemon journey. And then there's a poster up on his wall that says Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander.
Yes, and let's pause right here real quick, Doug. What did you think about the animation? Because this is the new style that the Pokemon show is actually drawn in now. What do you think about this over what we're reviewing right now?
Well, it's not fair.
Really?
It's not really, because the stuff we're watching right now was done in 1998.
True.
I mean, this is 2017. Or whenever it was done. I mean, it got released in 2017. But this is,
But
it's like...
The cartoon looks so much better, right?
Oh, I mean, it's not even a competition. I mean, this is just, it's cleaner, it's sharper, it's more vibrant.
So,
I think
all
it's
right.
the same thing as sharper, but I don't fucking know.
So we go
to use these $10 words,
Well, this is the place to do it, is in the movie. So, all right. So we go straight from Ash watching the Pokemon League, because that's what he was watching, to him laying in bed, and he's tossing and turning in his bed, and he goes and he grabs his alarm clock and thinks he's throwing the Pokeball to catch a Pokemon, and his ass breaks his alarm clock, which goes into the story as to why he was late getting to Professor Oak's.
And then, unlike the pilot, this is the first time we see his mom, because his mom pokes in and says, "What are you still doing in bed? You're going to be late getting to Professor Oak's."
Yes.
Which then he scrambles, basically breaks his neck on the bed here, rushes out, no shoes, no socks, no pants.
Just in well, he has pajamas on. He has pajama shorts.
Well, yeah, but well, I mean, we don't know what the temperature is, to be fair. We don't know what time of year it officially is.
But he runs over to Professor Oak, and Professor Oak is watering Bellsprout and Oddish in the front yard, and Ash is like, "I'm ready to get my first Pokemon." And Professor Oak just had no chill. He's like, Oh, so you're the one that was late. You're the fourth comer.
You're the fourth trainer that was starting out today.
And I just think it's real funny because um in this, I mean, and it still like jobbles my brain, but Professor Oak knew there was four trainers, right?
You would have to think so.
Okay. Well, he said he's like you're the fourth trainer. So he's asking Professor Oak, well, where's my Pokemon? And Professor Oak has to think as to who he's going to give Ash at the beginning of this. And then as he's walking in, and Ash is like, I decided that I'm going to choose Squirtle. And he's like, oh, that Pokemon went to a trainer who was on time. And then we see Gary.
Yeah, well, now let's be transparent. We see the back of Gary's head.
Yes. Yes.
And this tripped me out because obviously in the pilot, the three starting Pokemon are in this circular container's not the right word, but pedestal.
Yes.
And they're just denoted by Pokeballs. But in this scene, we see Gary holding a Pokeball up to Squirtle's head, and the Pokeball opening and accepting Squirtle in. So
Yes.
these Pokemon are essentially free-range Pokemon.
Correct. And I honestly like that.
Yeah, no, I prefer that a little better.
So he goes from that, and then a little switch up from the original series. He actually chooses Bulbasaur as his second Pokemon.
I thought that was different.
Yes.
I thought that was different, but I couldn't place it.
So he goes and he chooses Bulbasaur, and Professor Oak is like, okay, well, Bulbasaur was picked up by another trainer who was on time as well, and you see a girl picking up Bulbasaur, and I was like, all right, well, and he's like, oh, all right. I mean, I really want Charmander.
And I'm sitting there going, you're full of shit. You're just late and trying to make up for it.
And it's at this point, and I tried so hard because something tells me that these three figures that we're seeing in the video, like we see the back of Gary's head, and then we see the other two trainers, that these are trainers that are going to come into the mix in the actual series at some point. But because they depict the guy that got the Charmander, you see he's wearing purple pants with circles on the knees and what looks like a red slipper, a bag, and a red shirt.
Mm-hmm.
But I could not put my finger on who that trainer is. And I know I've seen him before, but I don't know. So, yeah, so Ash starts to get all bummed out, and he's like, well, if Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle are gone, then who the hell am I going to take?
I got to start on it my damn self.
Yeah, he actually thinks that Professor Oak is going to be like, well, here's some Pokeballs. You can go and catch your own starter Pokemon.
This would have been the worst thing in the world. Go catch yourself a Pidgey and see what happens.
Go throw this at a Spearow and make friends.
Yeah, go throw this at a Spearow, not a goddamn rock, you idiot.
So Professor Oak, in so little words, goes, well, I do have one more Pokemon. He's kind of temperamental, and he doesn't like to be in a Pokeball, and he's running around here somewhere. And then we see Pikachu run by. He's on the second floor of Professor Oak's lab, and just runs down all the way over to Ash Ketchum, and just runs past him, makes Ash fall on his ass and fall down the stairs, and Pikachu is just laughing his ass off, like the young, immature Pikachu that we all love.
I didn't care for this straight away because this scene right here, Pikachu is way more cute and cuddly way too soon.
Yeah, you prefer the fat Pikachu that started off the adventure that got wire around his waist and got dragged half of the first part of his adventure.
After the first, and no fucking gloves. I missed the. Where were the rubber gloves? God damn it. But then, so this is Pikachu, and he picks him up, and he gets shocked, and he.
Yeah, Pikachu doesn't like to be held, and Professor Oak goes, "Yeah, this is an electric mouse Pokemon. You might not want to do that." And
I'm
Ash
sitting
like,
there going, where were you 5 seconds ago?
And then Ash, being a smart ass 10-year-old, basically tells Professor Oak, "Oh, I could take a shock. We're gonna be best friends," and then just gets shocked again.
Yeah. And then, for nothing more than plot convenience, Mrs. Ketchum shows up, and she's got.
Right before that happened, Professor Oak did give Ash the electric Pokeball with the electric bolt on it, and so Pikachu does have a Pokeball.
Oh, that's right, he does. I mean, that's important because that was obviously in the pilot, and that was. And of course, the lightning bolt Pokeball will factor in here in due time.
Yes. So, all right, but as you were saying, Doug, you can go about Ash's mother coming into the equation.
Yeah. So, for nothing more than plot convenience, Mrs. Ketchum shows up with a fresh change of clothes, including a hat, which is different. The hat's different. That was like the first thing I noticed. Like, bang away. Like the hat's got a different logo, and I'm sitting there going, "Why?"
I can tell you why.
Oh, I'm sure you could.
So, the hats they're different region hats. So I believe this hat in general, I'm going to pull this up right now because Pokemon just did an event. Pokemon Go Pikachu or Pokemon Pikachu codes. There we go. Right here. So go ahead, Doug, and I'll have the difference of all these hats in just a moment.
So Ash puts on the hat and he's like, "Well, Pikachu and I we're gonna be the best of friends." And he said, "All right, Pikachu, it's time to go get in your Pokeball." They do the catch bit, which I would argue is funny here, because you can tell Pikachu's like, "I'm not going in that Pokeball," and he hits it. I'm seriously not going in that Pokeball.
And then he hits it again. Okay, I got it. Okay, so the one from the cartoon is called the original cap. It's the championship cap. The one that's in this movie is considered a partner cap. It's not a championship cap.
I see.
So it is a partner cap, and Pikachu wears it in the Pokemon game as a special event thing, and he looks all cute with it. So just wanted to point that out real quick.
So the Ash in the series who's wearing the quote-unquote championship hat is a fraud because he ain't no champion.
Well, he got that. I'm guessing that hat was a gift from his father.
No, didn't he say something like, "I had to I want to"?
Oh, he did. Yeah, he had to turn in some stuff to get that, and they only gave out like 12 of those hats, and he won it.
Yeah, because that comes up in our next episode, which we have yet to record yet, doesn't it? Because Primate takes it.
Yes.
Look at that. We didn't even plan that way.
I know.
Get that shit.
I know. Perfect.
So, yeah, they play catch, and then Ash gets the Pokeball to the face, and says, and Ash is like, "Oh, come on, Pikachu, it's time to go on our adventure," and he picks him up again, and of course he fucking gets shocked, and this time he gets everybody. Because the first time we only got Ash, because Oak apparently was outside of the range or whatever. And then we go to the road, and we got the dragging scene, which again, no gloves, no funny. And Ash is like, well, what's the matter,
Pikachu
Pikachu? Do
just
you not?
doesn't.
He goes, do you not like me? And Pikachu goes, duh.
No. Yeah, he's like, yeah, obviously I'm not walking. You're dragging my ass. And then Ash gets the bright idea and goes, all right, well, I will take this wire off of you, but you need to walk with me. And Pikachu still has no chill and is like, yeah, I'm still not listening to you.
He says, I'm still not listening, but he doesn't run away. He could have easily run away, and we could have had, 15 minutes of him trying to chase Pikachu down.
Yeah, and it's funny because in the original version, Pikachu goes and runs into a tree, and that's when we get the whole Ash is trying to catch Pokemon without Pikachu.
That's right, because Pikachu's up on a branch laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
And here he's on a rock. But yeah, so Ash sees a Pidgey, and he goes, "Oh, this is a perfect way to start my journey." And
And Pikachu just laughs because Pidgey breaks right out of the Pokeball. And Ash actually has the right mind in this movie and tells Pikachu, you're supposed to help me out and attack it so I can capture it. And Pikachu is just like, yeah, I'm going to scratch my ear with
I got this itch that I got to take care of.
This has no chill. So, and then we get the classic Ash is a dick and gets a rock and throws it.
It's a bigger rock.
It is a bigger rock, so I don't blame this damn Sparrow for getting pissed off the way that it is. You know what this reminds me of? Do you remember in the original Pokemon game where when you go to the Safari Zone and you can either throw a rock or give the Pokemon a treat? But like if you give the Pokemon a treat, it'll become a little bit more friendly. But if you throw a rock at it, it's easier to catch. Yeah, I just have all these envisions of trainers with a bag full of rocks, and it's like I'm gonna chuck them at these damn like the Pokemon in the Safari Zone must hate people.
Well, and that's dumb because isn't one of the main attractions of the Safari Zone Tauros? So you're throwing rocks at bulls basically.
Yeah, the one Pokemon that Ash has like 20 of.
I still love that in me. I don't think we've gotten there yet.
No, we're not there.
We're not there yet. That's one of my favorite lines.
That's in the Dratini episode. So
yeah, okay.
That's in the Dratini episode. So
yeah, okay.
It's coming
not there yet. Yeah, we're close though. But yeah, it's not there yet. So, we get this Spearow scene, and we get Pikachu being attacked. We get Ash picking him up, and Pikachu's all fucking wounded and pathetic.
There's a lot more Spearow in this movie than there was in the actual cartoon.
Yeah, but no, more Spearow, but no Fearow.
Yeah, no Fearow. And Pikachu, they're basically we're 8 minutes into this 90-minute movie. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and they're basically done with the first episode.
Yes, the first episode is basically done. Like we should be getting ready for Pikachu to go to the Pokemon Center for Ash to meet Misty. But no, that hasn't happened, and that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. I was going to say.
But I do like. I want to talk about the animation in this next part of the scene. So Ash jumps off a cliff to get away from the Spearow, and
he falls.
Yeah, well, it looked like, and then almost gets eaten by a fucking Gyarados, like a fucking G. Like that Gyarados had no chill. He gave 0 fucks and was like, "I will eat you." Okay, you swam by me. Goodbye.
It's not my show. You can keep going.
And that's the way that Ash and Pikachu got away from the Spearow in this movie, as opposed to Pikachu becoming friends with Ash and shocking the fuck out of all the Spearow and sending them away.
Well, it also starts raining like a motherfucker.
Yeah. So in this movie, as soon as he gets out of the water, all the Spearows start attacking him again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at this point Ash accidentally drops Pikachu. Pikachu goes flying like a couple yards away from him. And I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit because Ash wants Pikachu to get back into the Pokeball, and Pikachu's like, "Oh, so Ash is gonna take the brunt of the Spearow for me." And Ash stands up and faces the Spearow, and Pikachu comes up, and since it's raining, gives off a huge thunder shock. And they left nothing to the imagination in this. This was a big fucking boom.
I mean, this was, yeah. I feel like you could feel this if you were just sitting there and you go, what the fuck was that?
And the way they redid this scene with the raindrops, like looking all 3D and Pikachu just going in and just boom and just blew up. It literally blew away all the Spearow because of how big the explosion was.
And then it's funny, the version that I'm watching, and I'll say it again, I watched this originally on Netflix, but I'm too lazy and didn't want to boot it up again. So I'm watching a rip of this, right? Mm-hmm. and the version I'm watching is apparently from Disney XD because there's a fucking bug in the corner. And right after the explosion, they took their first commercial.
That's hilarious. Perfect spot too.
Yeah, not a bad spot. So they wake up and Pikachu's all snuggly and all. He's fine now. So the animosity only lasted about 12 minutes or so.
Yes. So at this point, they wake up, and after they snuggle, we get the classic Ho-Oh is flying over the Kanto region, but this time is where the story kind of starts taking a left turn, and Ho-Oh drops a rainbow feather down for Ash at this point.
And then we turn around and, we see the rainbow and we see the back of Pikachu and Ash, and then we actually get the opening, which apparently you had to fucking pay attention to the whole thing, and there's fucking 3 verses in this goddamn song, because why wouldn't there be?
So I'm gonna let you know something just going forward, Doug. Every single movie plays a theme song according to what version of Pokemon they're depicting, and every single theme song plays into the movie. So you have to watch it.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
I'm throwing that in there right now. So that's something that Pokemon loves to do, is to throw in the theme song, and it's a longer version and you get to hear the entire song, but a lot happens because you have to watch it in the Mewtwo Strikes Back movie. I'll just put it out there.
Well, no, I mean, I saw that.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I'm watching this intro, and Ash and Pikachu are buddy-buddy, and they're bathing in the river, and they're camping out, and they're battling. I'm going to say it like this because they fucking do. They fucking battle this poor, pathetic Caterpie.
Caterpie should be fucking pissed.
Caterpie should be dead.
Caterpie took a fucking that wasn't even a thundershock. That was a thunderbolt to the fucking face.
And he just took it clean. And 5 minutes later they're all buddy. Caterpie's hanging out on a fucking branch.
Eating some around. Pokemon food, and I want to throw out there that fucking Ash knows how to fucking cook in this movie.
Well, he has to. There's no Brock.
I was about to say there's no Brock, so he had to learn how to cook. So there's no, because in the series, Ash still, I'm 1 episode away from Battle Frontier, and Ash's ass still doesn't know how to cook. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, you're not just gonna pick that up, are you?
So. But yeah, we go straight from that, and then we go to another scene where Ash is training his Pikachu and all of his Pokemon. We get the classic scene of Caterpie looking at all the Butterfree in the sky, imagining what he's gonna one day be. It looks like we get Mew. Is that fucking Mew? I didn't even catch that the first time.
I didn't even catch that a little bit. Let me.
Hold on. No, that's not Mew. That's some pink Pokemon that I can't depict. But let's see. Pikachu never goes back into his Pokeball, and we go straight from that to a scene of Ash battling inside of the bug gym in the Kanto region.
You're right.
So he's battling and getting ready to get his Marshmallow badge. And
the Rainbow badge, isn't it?
I mean, I'm sorry, not Marshmallow badge. The Rainbow badge from the gym. And so this is the third badge that he is getting. So that means that they skipped over Brock and they skipped over Misty.
And they skipped over, if we're being honest.
True. Surge was the third gym leader. No, was he?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes. Because I don't even think we've gotten to this point in our series yet. He doesn't have this badge.
No, we to kind of date us a little bit and confuse you, you fine listeners. We just watched where he got his Marsh badge. We just finished the Psychic Trilogy.
Yes. So, and you'll be hearing that starting next week. So, hey, don't you like how that goes together, Doug?
No, it makes my head hurt.
So, yeah, he hasn't gotten this badge yet, and as you've been listening to our show, he hasn't gotten it in the series yet either. So, for this being his third gym battle, I mean, they're really turning the tables on the order that Ash is getting these badges.
Big time.
But Pikachu is battling a Tangela.
Which we haven't seen in the show.
No. So he wins this battle and goes and gets his badge. And we go straight from that to Ash basically getting yelled at by his mother for not checking in.
Which, fair enough,
Yes.
It seems like we're in an age now where phone calls are easier to make. Fast forward a little bit, the young woman he's about to meet in this Pokemon Center a little bit later has a phone.
Yes. So they've done away with the original, like the Bellsprout phones and all of that. Like in this movie, you're getting updated technology. Yeah. Like there's cell phones, the computer that he's watching the video on has no actual telephone that he's holding up to his ear to talk in. It's an actual, like, it looks like a Skype or Zoom video that he's videoing with his mother.
Right.
So that's an update as well. But Ash's mother actually brings up Ash's father.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, you didn't catch that. She shows how mad she is at the father. So she goes, here, I'll even do the line. She said, "Do you know how many Pokemon centers you have been to and you have not called? I've been leaving messages hoping that you would be there." And Ash goes, "What's the big emergency?" And his mother, who we find out her name is Delia, by the way, she says, if I didn't say it was a big emergency, you wouldn't have called back. You're like your father. It wouldn't hurt to call me once in a while, would it? And that's the one and only line about Ash.
She says something like that in the show, doesn't she?
Not really. She doesn't go as hard into the father as she went in this movie. Like that's the one line, but in that one line, you can definitely tell something happened between Mrs. Ketchum and the father. Because in the original series, it seems like father may have gone out to war, never came back. This time, Ash's father fucking went out on a Pokemon adventure, it seems like, and just never called again. Deadbeat.
Ah.
So, yeah. And she goes straight from being mad to being happy once she sees Pikachu.
Yeah, because Pikachu's cute,
But yeah, in this scene, you get introduced to a couple of the main characters, but they're not on speaking terms yet. Like you get introduced to Sorrel, and he is with his Lucario. You get introduced to Verity, and she's just standing at one of the Pokemon desks, and she's chuckling, and Nurse Joy is giving her back her Pokemon, saying that her Pokemon is back to perfect health.
Right.
So, you want to take this next part, Doug?
Oh, yeah, I gotta backtrack a little bit because I've just kind of been letting it run. So they're standing there, and then as Verity gets her Pokemon back, a trainer walks in, or runs in, I should say, with a Vaporeon, and says, "My Vaporeon needs help. It was hurt. That freaking Entei came out of nowhere."
They're like, Entei?
Yeah, everybody and their mother like drops what they're doing, and Ash is like, "Mom, I gotta let you go. Like, fucking Entei's been sighted,
I'm gonna go capture it. But this is also the scene where we get Team Rocket as well, and I mean, maybe their voices, once I get a little further in the series, has changed, but their voices have dramatically like changed. Like
I thought Jesse sounded the same.
Well, okay, maybe not Jesse, but James definitely.
Oh, 100%. And Meow.
Yes. So I was like, what the hell? I was like, and they haven't been, Ash is on his third badge, and they're not after Pikachu yet, which is completely different from the main series as well, because they would have been on trap number 25 by now.
Well, yeah.
You like how I did that? Pikachu's 25, trap 25.
I gotta be honest with you, I didn't even catch that. I mean, I kind of glossed over them because they don't really factor in here. In this movie, I mean, they're there, and they get thwarted, but they don't like, oh my god, it's Team Rocket, we have to, forget about Ho-Oh and Entei for 10 minutes and deal with Team Rocket. They're just kind of there, and then they're not.
Yeah. And then it's at this point that everybody and their mother heard about the whole Entei, and the whole entire Pokemon Center full of trainers runs out and goes into the forest in an attempt to find Entei so they can capture this legendary Pokemon. And then Team Rocket jumps up and goes, "We're going to get Entei too." And they just run out, and then they're gone.
And we know that Team Rocket are still bad because their wanted posters are up in the Pokemon Center.
Yes. So this is where the movie takes a huge fast forward. I mean, gosh, people, you got 90 minutes. Slow down.
Yeah, really.
But we go straight to Ash running in the forest, and of course, within like 3 or 4 seconds of him running in the forest, there's Entei.
Right, because, we only have, well, I mean, to be fair, at that point, they had, they basically only had, buck 10 or so.
Yes.
I mean, they had to step on it. Yeah, so Ash is running, he sees Entei, but then Verity is running right next to him.
Yes, and she's running on after, and she says that she's going to capture it. And this little girl, this stupid girl,
careful,
throws out a, I was about to say something else, but it's a little girl.
That's uncalled for, and you know it. Be ashamed of yourself.
Hey, I didn't say it.
Yeah, but you thought it real hard.
This idiot throws out a damn Piplup to go and battle a legendary motherfucking big badass Entei.
Hey man,
I'm not going to be able to say that again.
hey
So
man,
got
that
out.
that Piplup is gonna cute him to death. I caught an Entei once.
Yeah, I caught an Entei once too. I actually just caught another Entei in Sword and Shield. Just saying.
Yeah, but I'm talking. I caught it when it was actually hard to do.
Did you catch it with a Piplup?
I sure no, no, fuck no. I had 100 Master Balls and just kind of lucked into them one night.
And was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna toss this at you. I'm not gonna battle you."
I'm gonna catch this real quick, and just because nobody's gonna fucking believe me that I saw you, let alone caught you.
So she sends Piplup out, and out of all moves to do, she tells Piplup to do Bubble Beam.
Well, because it's Piplup. What else is it gonna?
Let's blow some bubbles at this big fire-breathing, fucking big hunk of a man Entei.
I was not expecting that description. Hunk of a man.
But Entei jumps up from the bubble beam and jumps right behind Ash. And this Entei must weigh like 1,000 pounds because as soon as it hits that ground, fucking shakes everything.
Right. And then, pardon me, and then throws out flamethrower. He dodges a thunder shock from Pikachu.
Yes.
And then jumps on a rock, throws out a flamethrower. Burns Ash's ass, which
literally his ass was on fire. Funny clip.
Poor Ash, really. He's gotten shocked, he's been burnt, he got yelled at by his mom. He's not having a good time.
No, not at all. But then we see Sorrel show up into the mix with his Lucario, who throws a shadow ball over at Entei, and Entei just takes it to the chin and goes, "Yeah, nice shot, my turn."
Flamethrower for you too, and you can have this tree.
Right into the tree. If I was that trainer, I'd want that tree cut out, and then I'd want the imprint of my Lucario that's inside of that tree as like a little souvenir. Like
yeah.
this.
See that hunk of wood? This is from when my Lucario ate it.
Battling a fucking Entei.
And
then Bubble Beam again by Piplup.
Yeah, that Piplup gets all full of piss and vinegar. It says, "I'm gonna get you this time."
And this time, fucking Entei doesn't even pull out an attack. He jumps into the air, jumps down, and the gust of wind off of his body just takes Pikachu, Ash, Verity, and Piplup and just shoots them back. And then Entei just walks away going, "Try that again and see what happens."
He said, "My work here is done."
And just walks off.
And then Verity gets pissy with Ash, saying, I could have caught him if you hadn't mucked things up." And Piplup's got an attitude. And Ash's solution to everything is, "Well, we should just battle then."
Of course, because he goes, "You know what? I'm not going to take this. Why don't we just battle then?" And we find out that Verity is from, let's see, give me 1 second. She is from Twinleaf Town, and that Sorrel as well is from Veilstone City. And Ash challenges Verity to a battle, and then Verity is like, "This is not going to last long. I want to fight your Lucario." But fucking Sorrel must have an
He's picking the Lucario up from the ground and says, "Look, I'm fucking out of here. We just ran into a tree. We're out of this is no." So he puts Lucario back, his Pokeball, and deuces out.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a proper trainer. I'm just gonna walk away. And I swear Sorrel looks like he's 10 years old as well. So it looks like he probably just started off his journey as well.
He said, I've got other shit to do. So Piplup and Pikachu have an actual pretty decent battle.
Sorrel, as he walked off, warned Ash and Verity that there's a huge storm that's getting ready to come through.
That's a good line.
Yes.
And
He
then,
said, you might want to go and take shelter. There's a storm coming in. I'm getting out of here.
And then, he's just weird. We're going to battle. And they battle for a good hot minute. And, they're going back and forth until freaking Piplup shoots another one of their troublemaking bubble beams to a set of rocks, which, oh, by the way, is a fucking onyx.
And this onyx got pissed because onyx, of course, weak to water. So gets pissed off, and Ash has to go and save Piplup from getting smashed by Onyx, and Onyx is not having any of it and goes, you know what? You may have saved it, but I'm going to chase your ass, and you're not going to get away. So there's like a good 2-minute scene of them getting chased by fucking Onyx and tossing Team Rocket.
And Team Rocket just happens to be on a stump for about 5 seconds, and then they're not. And they're being chased by this Onyx, and then Onyx actually gets behind them enough to flip them onto its own back, and it's still riding them in this chasm, a canyon, and Onyx is binging and banging off of the sides of this rock, and Ash is like, "You're just gonna hurt yourself at this point, knock it the fuck off."
Yeah, Onyx. I mean, Ash is lucky that none of those rocks ricocheted up and hit him.
For all we know. And, Verity holds up Piplup, and Piplup does a, what's that, a whirlpool?
Whirlpool.
Yeah.
A whirlpool. And stops Onyx, and Ash tells it, he's like, listen, I'm sorry for scaring you, but you're going to hurt us and you're going to hurt yourself. So let's just go our separate ways, and I'm sorry. And Onyx actually calms down, listens, and burrows his way back underground.
And as Verity and Ash are kind of coming to a mutual understanding, lo and behold, it does in fact start to rain.
Yes.
Hard.
And this is where we get the classic Charmander scene. So we just jumped 5 episodes.
5 episodes, just bang.
So they're running away, and they see this Charmander looking sadder than a motherfucker. This Charmander didn't even have a leaf covering his tail. He's just sitting on this stone getting poured on.
And he's just, hey Charmander, what's going on? And, Charmander's looking all sad, but he's looking determined. And then all of a sudden he stands up, and he kind of gets this bright look in his eye, and he starts waddling over. And we see this trainer come out of the woods, and he runs over, and he's all happy. And Verity goes, "Oh, that must be his trainer. He must have been waiting."
This scene
made me want to turn off the movie. I almost stopped, and I almost texted you, and I'm like, I can't. I made it half an hour. I can't do it. This is bullshit.
I was in all sorts of feelings when this happened, because the way that they animated Charmander jumping up. So think of a little 1-year-old baby that just learned how to walk or just learned how to run and is running back to his mom or dad, and just this trainer being the parent is just I don't want you. Just get out of here. And I was
fucking
done.
Kicked him.
Yes.
And I said out loud, he fucking kicked him. Out loud, I said that.
Charmander was hugging his leg, and
I almost cut the movie. If the movie didn't have another hour and it was already 6:30, I would have cut the movie and texted you. I don't know if I can do this. This is already bullshit.
When I tell you people that this movie puts you in all sorts of feelings, I mean, it does. And this is one of the saddest scenes. But
so if you can kind of remember kind of some of the dialogue that Damien used, this is basically what Cross was saying.
I was about to say his name is Cross. And I wanted to give you guys a background as to where he came from, but he never says
He doesn't say.
where he came from. So he this is just a one-off character in the movie. But yeah, he calls Charmander weak, says Charmander that there's a million Charmanders out here. He caught this one thinking it was strong, but that there's a million other Charmander in this forest that I can go and catch that's 10 times stronger than this one. So
and he goes to walk away, and Ash tries to stop him, and then you'll have to forgive me. I'm not 100% sure what Pokemon this Cross was walking with. It's identified later, but it's beyond. It was past my watching of the show. Let me just put it that way, or playing of the games, because they really fucked with the timeline of some of these Pokemon. The Cross starts walking away, and Charmander doesn't know any better, so he's trying to follow him, and he's wobbling, and he falls in the fucking mud again, and if I hadn't quit when he kicked him, I almost quit here. And so, at this point, Ash has to play hero again. He picks him up and he puts his tail in his, covered by his jacket so he can survive the rain. And then they just walk into this cave.
Lycanroc.
There we go. Ash tries to stop Cross at one point, and the Lycanroc has to kind of knock him down, and then Pikachu gets ready to jump to his defense and shock him, but then,
it's a lot of rain.
Lycanroc starts mean mugging, and then the Cross starts talking to him like an idiot. And so they run into this cave
and meet up with Sorrel, who started a fire inside of the cave.
And then we basically get Nurse Joy's lines from
Sorrel.
Yeah, basically, you let it, get to this point. And then, poor Verity has to jump in and be like, this isn't his Charmander. It was abandoned by his trainer. His trainer was a dickhead with a small prick.
Those were Misty's lines.
Right. Because they're both girls.
Yes.
And so, we find out that Sorrel is training to be a Pokemon professor. And that, just happens to include some medical training.
Brock?
Yes, minus the food.
Yes.
And so they kind of bundle Charmander up and
give him some medicine.
Yeah, some type of medicine.
And it makes Charmander go night night.
Well, so NyQuil basically.
Yeah.
So Ash is watching over him, and he's got him in his arms, and Charmander wakes up at one point and looks up and sees Ash holding him, and you can just kind of tell I don't know about this guy, but I'm warm, so kind of fuck it. And
it starts getting cold inside of the cave, so everybody starts retreating their Pokemon back into their Pokeball, but Pikachu won't go.
Right. Which apparently Piplup and what's it fella's Pokemon name?
Lucario?
Yeah, him.
Yes.
They're like, well, if Pikachu's not going in his ball, we're not going in our balls. We're gonna keep you warm, and poor Piplup can't keep a fucking leg warm, let alone a whole human.
He's like a penguin.
I mean, he's trying his damnedest, but
But then we get Entei with a bunch of other Pokemon walking into the cave, and Entei is just mean mugging these trainers.
And you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you. You see the storm out there.
I just saved these Pokemon. Now don't try anything stupid.
And nobody does, to be fair.
Yes.
And then we get a bit of story time talking about Ho-Oh was the, what was it, the life force of Entei,
Raikou and Suicune. Yes. So the Pokemon Tower from Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Platinum basically The story was that the tower burned down, but was brought back to life, but was brought back in the forms of the three dogs.
Yes.
And Entei represents the fire that was there. Suicune is the water that put it out, and Raikou is the lightning that caused the fire.
Right. And then we get another piece of updated technology because Sorrel has a goddamn iPad.
Yes. Yeah,
you
he
know,
does.
talking about the three legendaries and their connection to Ho-Oh, and mentions the rainbow feather, and Ash goes, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm gonna brag here for a second," and
Yeah, I
goes,
saw Ho-Oh, and he dropped this feather for me.
he goes to his pants and he pulls it out, and they're like, "You son of a bitch."
And Entei immediately wakes up from his slumber and looks over at the wing because unbeknownst to Ash, but later we're going to find out that Ash is a chosen one.
Of course he is. It's his show.
Yes.
We see them sleeping, and Pikachu kind of wakes up first, and kind of wakes the group up, and that wakes up Piplup, and that wakes up Charmander, and we see that Charmander's feeling about 150 times better, and he shows off his tail, and Piplup and Pikachu are happy, and everybody's having a good time, and Ash is like, "Well, Charmander, I would really like it if you came along and was part of our group," and Charmander kind of has momentary flashbacks to Cross, and Ash...
Marshadow.
Marshadow is the Pokemon that we saw hovering around Entei there. And Ash says, really sincerely says, "Please," and Charmander agrees, and we see Ash hold up a we don't get the scene of Charmander happily jumping into the Pokeball like in the show, but we get this symbolic, Charmander.
He goes over.
Basically saying, I surrender and humbly join your clan, good sir. And
I don't think we should call it a clan, Doug.
Why not? That's where your mind took it.
No, it is not.
That's where your mind took it. My mind didn't go there.
So, all right. So they leave the cave finally. It's nice and dry outside. It must be 80 degrees outside because there's no lick of rain anymore.
And we get a nice rainbow, and the feathers going crazy, and
Marshadow comes back out.
Sorrel pulls out his iPad again so we can kind of get a map going. And they're kind of trying to they kind of come to a loose agreement of, we're going to go find Ho-Oh, and because it's Ash with the solution. What's his solution? I'm going to go battle it. Like
yeah,
fuckhead.
Did you not learn your lesson the first time?
So then we get Team Rocket talking about, maybe if we follow them, we can capture Ho-Oh. It's like, you've been in this movie for 2 minutes, maybe.
Well, not Ho-Oh. They want Entei.
Well, right. But it doesn't change the fact that they've been in this movie for 5 minutes total, probably. Yes. If that even, probably like 2.
So, we get Caterpie battling a Pinsir next.
And kicking its ass.
Yeah, like...
Which is bullshit.
Like his fucking Caterpie fucking string shot a Pinsir, whipped it and upside down and got its Pinsir legs inside of the ground so it couldn't move. And then evolved.
And then and that tracks because Caterpie was notoriously weak in the game.
Yes.
So, you do one offensive move, it's going to evolve, which, it does evolve, and it's Metapod, which unfortunately
Pincer gets pissed the fuck off and just walks away, just tearing off all the damn string shot. Like, this is bullshit.
And they said, well, Pincer's getting away. And Ash goes, this is okay. This is what's important. He's holding Metapod and everybody's having a good time.
So,
and then...
we are 36 minutes into this movie and still have an hour left.
Right.
Wow.
So we're at the campsite, and we see everybody sleeping except for Verity,
and she's on her iPhone.
Yeah, she's on her phone, and she's scrolling through pictures which have to be recently taken because Ash has Charmander and Caterpie. And she scrolls to a picture of her mother, and she kind of gets teary-eyed, and then she looked.
We can't really gloss over this part. So
we can.
we can, but it just shows how long they've been together. So the first picture shows them in a big town, and then they're in a country town, and then they're somewhere else, and then they're on a trail. So they've been traveling together now probably for a couple weeks at this point.
See, but with no narrator, right? And, you could chalk this up to Doug. If you put down Madden, you fucking would have caught some of this on your first watch. Well, don't tell me how to live my life. With no narrator, this is just happening.
Yes.
Right? Like, and that's, and your point is 100% valid. They've been through some shit, apparently, right? And
yeah, they are now close friends. They are now traveling like Ash, Misty, and Brock in the main series.
Right. But so Verity's on her phone, and she scrolls to a picture of her mother, and then she gets emotional, and then she looks up, and what's that Pokemon?
Suicune?
Yeah. Is standing on the opposite side of the lake from her, and she's just kind of dumbstruck.
Because it's looking all majestic like and shit.
And we cut essentially to that morning, and you hear Ash go, "Really? Right across the lake?"
Man, I wish I would have been there. I could have caught it.
And that's what he does. He could have. He should have, right?
Yeah.
I wish I would have been awake. Somebody should have woken me. I should have set a time. I should have set an alarm. What the fuck?
Pikachu could have battled it, and I could have caught it. I wonder if they're going to ever introduce a trainer to have at least one legendary Pokemon.
And then Ash will battle it for, like, pink slips, or, like, battle for keeps, because he's a prick.
Yeah, because I know in the main series he finally got a Dragonite. He captured a Dragonite. So I would love to see what the rest of his team looks like. Just saying.
So then we fast forward a little bit, and we see Ash is battling with a trainer who has a Jigglypuff.
Fucking roasted that Jigglypuff.
And yeah, they basically treated this Jigglypuff like a marshmallow. And
Charmander evolves into Charmeleon.
And you people that have watched the show go, "Oh, this is the part where Charmeleon starts acting like an emo teenager." No, Charmeleon's just happy-go-lucky, just happens to be a little bit stronger.
Yeah, that's another difference from the main series, because I mean, spoiler, we do get Charmander, we do get Charizard in this movie later, but fucking there's no angry Charmeleon or anything. It's always fucking happy.
It's just happier than a pig in shit.
Like, doesn't disobey Ash, doesn't show anything that happened in the series. I'm just like, this must be an alternate universe, because Charmeleon was just a badass teenager that didn't want to do shit.
And so that's completely different. And then we go to a library. I would say a library, because there's a fucking looks like a decent collection here.
Yeah.
And they're on a video call with Mrs. Ketchum, and she says, "Oh, I hope Ash isn't slowing you guys down, because he might be rambunctious, but he's full of heart," and all this bullshit. She's just saying shit she doesn't need to say.
Yeah, for real. And then we go to Sorrel, who's looking at a book because he's studying, but the book is significant to the story.
Yes.
So he's looking up. So you get a couple things in this scene. So you get a Easter
I have a
egg.
question.
What's
And
that?
I don't mean to derail you, but it's just because I'm watching the scene where they're discussing the book,
Okay.
and I've noticed it but it just really hit me, and I just have to ask because I'm afraid if I don't ask now, we're gonna get bogged down in some other shit happening, and I'm gonna forget.
Okay.
Why doesn't Piplup go back in its Pokeball?
It doesn't get told in this. That's a good question. Maybe he's taken after Pikachu.
It's just Pikachu, just that much of a bad influence.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, no, I completely derailed you because this is an important part.
so so in this book, he's looking up and he's scrolling through the pages, and you get an Easter egg of a certain character that we're going to end up seeing in about another 30 minutes into this movie. You get you get what looks like someone presenting the feather that Ash has as like a sacrifice to getting in touch with Ho-Oh. So you get that picture, and then Ash and Verity bum rush the party by walking in.
Yeah, and we find out that if the feather that Ash has is touched by somebody with an evil heart, it's drained of all its colors and power. Because
Yes.
in the book there's an illustration, and the flower is pitch black.
Yes. So just make sure that whoever has this feather keeps the feather and it doesn't get into the wrong hands.
And Ash says,
basically.
"Well, I'm not. You don't have to worry about that with me because I might be rambunctious, but I'm full of heart." And everybody has a good laugh, and then Ash gets mad because everybody's laughing. Typical 10-year-old.
Yeah. So and if the feather, and we're also told that if the feather gets touched by the wrong person, that Ho-Oh will not appear, but evil will ensue.
Right.
So that's a big key into this story as well.
And then we do another smash cut to a random battle where Pikachu is taking on a Snorlax.
Like, and fucking took a body slam and then threw. This Pikachu's Thunder Shock has gotten so strong to where Pikachu picked up Snorlax and threw him into the air.
Yeah, because, but again, apparently they've been on the road for a few months, so maybe this is plausible. I mean, I doubt it, but
Yeah. So, and Sorrel and Verity are still following Ash on this adventure. Ash defeats Snorlax. The trainer calls it back, but then we get Cross.
And
Cross is back.
So Cross steps up to take on Ash, and Ash calls out Charmeleon, who has this immediate recollection of, "Oh, you're that motherfucker," and then Cross is like,
I have a screen grab right now of his face, just like looking like that. It's just hilarious. Sorry.
And then Cross goes, "Oh, no shit, it evolved. I'll bet you it's still weak." And he calls out his fire type Pokemon, which is a
Incineroar.
Right, which again is above my
Pokemon.
above my pay grade. I was looking for a Blaziken or something. Didn't get it. In the early stage of this battle, Charmeleon is just putting in work,
but it's not having any effect on Incineroar, and they just start battling it off, and then Charmeleon fucking seismic tosses Incineroar, but I didn't think that Charmeleon could learn that move until he was a fucking Charizard.
Yeah, I didn't either. So apparently they're just saying, "Oh, here's the Pokemon rule." Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's out the window. Um, and Sorrel's kind of standing there, and he goes, "Oh, this makes perfect sense." And Verity's kind of like, "What do you mean it makes perfect sense?" And he goes, Incineroar is a type of Pokemon that the more damage it takes, the more damage it can dish out.
Yes. Which
So,
that's kind of fucked because Incineroar was letting Charmeleon just whoop his ass just so it can give out one big blast.
and I mean, to be fair, it knocked Charmeleon 6 ways to Sunday.
Yeah, because they both did a flamethrower at the same time. And normally one Pokemon's on one end, the other's on another, and their flamethrower meets in the middle and it explodes. That didn't happen this time. Fucking Incineroar's flamethrower met in the middle and then pushed Charmeleon's back basically into his mouth and just boom. Just smack dab in the face.
And, he knocks him through a wall, and that's the end of the battle,
And then Cross calls Charmeleon weak again because Charmeleon can't get out any more of a flamethrower because he's weak now.
And Sorrel's like, yeah, well, this is kind of on Ash because Ash is relying on power, and Charmeleon basically just evolved, and it's not quite there yet. But he'll learn.
But Charmeleon didn't want to give up either because Charmeleon wanted to prove that he's stronger. And Ash even tells Charmeleon, "Okay, we need to stop. We're done." And Charmeleon's like, "No, I'm not done."
Yeah, well, a fat load of good that does everybody here in a couple of minutes.
I know.
Because we're at the Pokemon Center, waiting on Charmeleon to get checked on. And as soon as they're done, they walk out, and Ash just isn't saying shit to anybody. And Pikachu's trying to, keep the mood up, and Ash just kind of stops and goes, it's kind of bullshit that he won like that.
Yeah. And he had enough nerve, and this is bullshit, and they had to bring out bullshit fucking 10-year-old Ash with an attitude. But it's at this moment that Ash looked at Verity and Sorrel and was like, Pikachu could have won that battle. And Verity was like, don't say that. What if Charmeleon hears you? And
Right.
He just walks out.
He just walks away. And, he fucking sprints off. And he's kind of walking, and Pikachu's trying to run after him. And he kind of stops. And he goes, "Oh, so you think I'm wrong too, huh?" Pikachu's just kind of standing there, kind of confused, and a little bit hurt. And
Pikachu agrees. Pikachu looks at him and says, "Yeah, you are wrong." And Ash just walks away.
Well, he goes, "I should have gotten." He says, "I should have gotten a Bulbasaur or a Squirtle." I'm like, oh, fucking damn.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? And just walks away from Pikachu. Hold on, I'm gonna get that I'm gonna get that line real quick. So it's my he goes, so it's my fault. Pikachu goes, yeah. And he said, even Pikachu, man. And then Ash starts walking away and doing its heavy thing. Pikachu's still following him, and Pikachu's like, Pika. And Ash, it says, if only my first Pokemon had been a Squirtle or a Bulbasaur. And then just walks away.
And, he's walking, and he sits down at a certain point, and, we see the feather kind of fall out of his pocket, and it turns black, so we're supposed to, oh shit. And then, he turns around, because he has this kind of moment of realization, and he goes, and he looks for Pikachu, and Pikachu's not there, and he kind of throws a little 10-year-old tantrum.
And goes, who needs Pikachu anyway? I'll be fine all by myself. And then this is when we get Marshadow showing back up in the shadows again, but this time takes control of Ash's mind, puts Ash to sleep, and now we're going to get another twist to this whole story.
So we go back to Ash's first day, essentially, and we see that, his mom pokes in again and says, "What are you still doing asleep? You're going to be late for Professor Oak." And he goes, "Oh, shit." And he sits up, and right away you can see that the Pokemon that were on the poster have been replaced by cars.
Yes.
So right away you're like, oh, shit. And then, Ash comes running, and he goes, "Sorry I'm late, Professor. I overslept." He goes, "Oh, well, there were 4 trainers that were late for school today, but you were definitely the latest."
Yep.
And we see that Oak is just watering regular flowers, so that's another one where we're like, oh, fuck.
So, and then Ash goes into what was the lab. I was about to say ass. What was the lab, but is now an actual classroom. And Ash is in school instead of being out and being a trainer.
And we hear the voices of Verity and Sorrel, but we don't actually see them. And occasionally we see like a yellow flash. And Ash kind of has a moment where it's like, did I just see? I couldn't have seen that.
And then he looks up and looks out of the window and swears he sees a ho-oh. And then he wipes his eyes and it's an airplane.
Right. And then Verity...
We do have to say that this whole scene that we're going over is depicted in black and white.
Well, yeah, there's a little bit of color, but it's very muted.
Yeah, it's like a very toned down purple.
Right, yeah, like for the sky. And so they're out in the yard basically. And they're discussing like what they're going to do when
I'm sorry.
What they're going to do when they're out of school.
And Ash says that he's going to go out and he's going to venture out and he's going to venture out with his best friend. And he's talking about Pikachu, but there is no Pikachu.
And they're kind of confused. Verity and Sorrel are kind of confused. Oh, my buddy. And then, he kind of has this realization and he starts to kind of cry. And I think one of them points it out and he goes, "Oh, was I?" And he kind of wipes his eyes and looks up and they're gone. And then he sees that yellow flash again and we can see that it's forming into a clearer form of Pikachu. And Ash starts to chase it.
But the Pikachu is running away from him.
Right. And then the scene starts to crumble around him. And basically, as soon as Ash is able to catch up to Pikachu, the ground gives way and they begin to fall. But then they fall into the light, and then Ash wakes up.
Yes. And in this moment, he did grab Pikachu. Pikachu's there when he wakes up.
Pikachu's there when he wakes up, because then we get Verity going, "You know how long we've been looking for you?" And I think does Ash...
He goes and he hugs Pikachu, like gives him a big hug and apologizes for the things that he said. And then the feather turns into a rainbow color again.
Right, and then Verity picks up the flower and says, "I think you dropped this." And then, like you said, they hug, Pikachu and Ash hug, and then, before they start walking away again, or walking on again, Ash pulls Charmander's Pokeball out and apologizes because apparently they can hear,
inside of the Pokeball.
So, that's another question that's been answered.
Yes. So we then now we're about to get Sorrel's background, and he's about to go over the story as to what's been going on with him. So he goes, when I was young, my parents were away and worked more than they were home. I'm sorry?
So he was watched over by a Pokemon.
Yes. And the Pokemon that he was watched over by was a Luxray.
Right. Once again, out of my range.
So this Pokemon would watch over him, but he ended up going out into a bad snowstorm one day, and Luxray came out to save him because he had fallen. He was basically freezing to death on the outside, and Luxray put his body around him to keep him warm, but in that effect, Luxray had frozen to death, but he had remained alive. And that was the worst day in his life at that point.
Another moment I almost turned the thing off. Like, this is some bullshit.
They really love to introduce death in Pokemon now. I feel like I need to start preparing myself for some of these future episodes I'm getting into.
And,
like they're really pulling at heartstrings.
You know, and as we're kind of coming out of the story, Pikachu looks over
and tries to tackle Marshadow.
Yeah, and then he gets mad because Marshadow fades into this tree, so Pikachu shocks the tree, which then summons a pack of Primeapes
that were sleeping in the tree.
And they start throwing everybody up in the air.
Which, I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, I don't blame the Primate, because Primate just got woken up and got shocked and electrocuted for no damn reason. They were minding their business, wasn't bothering anybody.
Not a reason at all. And as they're being thrown in the air, Sorrel goes, Ash, we need, pardon me, we need Metapod. And Ash goes, really? So he calls him out, and apparently goddamn Metapods can do slingshot.
Yes.
So I'm sitting here going, what the fuck?
So, because Sorrel basically told Ash, he's like, Primates, once they get mad, there's no calming them down. They immediately get angrier and angrier and angrier, and we're going to be at knocking on death's doors if something doesn't happen. So fucking Metapod string shots all the damn Primate and into one big circle to stop them from throwing them in the air.
And gives everybody a chance to run away, and as they're running away, Metapod evolves into Butterfree. And
yes.
then the Primate inevitably busts free of the slingshot. Well, then Butterfree cycles back and hits them with sleep powder.
And puts them all to sleep.
And then they get away, for good. And then here come Team Rocket to basically walk right in the middle of these goddamn Primates. And then
they wake them up.
They wake them up, toss them a couple times, and then they toss them out.
Yes.
Basically.
They're blasting off again. We finally get the line in the movie.
Right. And it's only taken them 3 other times of getting taken out.
So they come up to a river, and Verity goes, I'll take care of this, and sends out Piplup. Or, I mean, not Piplup, sends out Lapras.
Lapras.
Where the fuck did she get a Lapras?
So
I mean, they've been traveling a lot.
Well, yeah, apparently. Apparently we've all been through some shit. And they're floating down the river with this Lapras, and then we fade out, and then they're walking again, and Piplup and Pikachu are having a good old time,
and then all of a sudden we get Fearow. This is the introduction of Fearow in the movie.
And then who is Fearow chasing but just so happens to be the one pink butterfly apparently in the goddamn world.
Yeah. I swear, I mean, that's a shiny Butterfree.
And then Ash summons out his Butterfree, and we have the Butterfree episode here in about 5 minutes.
Yes. They battle this damn Fearow, and after they battle, the pink Butterfree and Ash's Butterfree link up, and we immediately go to the scene where Ash gives away his Butterfree so he can go mate with the pink Butterfree.
And even though it only took 5 seconds, it still got me, because they're crying and they're all blubbering and all the Pokemon are. This is some bullshit. We just had the frickin'
Charmander.
The Charmander and the dude's nanny get fucking froze to death and shit. This is some bullshit. This movie's ass.
Yeah, it is. Just wait until we get the Mewtwo Strikes Back. You remember some of those scenes.
Well, yeah, but I think at that point I'll just be numb to everything. So then, well, no, we don't get the giveaway scene just yet.
No, we don't. Not yet.
Because, so after Butterfree and the Pink Butterfree do the courtship ritual, they come, pardon me, they come to this clearing.
And there's a mountain, and the mountain supposedly is the mountain where Ash can go and meet Ho-Oh. So he takes out his feather, and the feather signals the top of the mountain.
Yeah, because the feather's going ham here.
Yes.
And, you know, like you said, the feather is used as kind of a summoning beacon.
So now they got to find their way to the top, but this is the scene where Ash gets rid of Butterfree.
Yes.
Because at this point, as they're walking, they come up to the field of Butterfree, just like in the series. And his Butterfree meets up with the Pink Butterfree again. They do their courtship dance, and it's off to the heavens with them.
And I think we don't need to fucking get into it, because we didn't just cover it, but I mean, anybody that's hearing this has heard the Butterfree episode. This scene is so much more blubbery than in the show. Fucking everybody's crying. The Pokemon are crying. You know, this is some bullshit. I don't want to be on this scene anymore.
Oh yeah. I mean, I basically summed it up. His Butterfree goes away. It's a very big, sad scene. He's been with Butterfree for the longest time, but now it's time to say goodbye. He literally they did the whole Butterfree episode in 3 minutes. I just timed it out right now. So that they're really fast forwarding in this movie.
And then
it's ridiculous.
And then what is the name of the lightning legendary?
Raikou.
He's standing on top of this cliff, and he kind of summons everybody and their mother.
Yeah.
Because he knows that the group is getting close to the top of this peak to locate Ho-Oh. As they're walking, you just see just a bunch of there's a Magnemite, there's some Nidoran and Nidorino, there's some Zubat, and what's the evolved form of Zubat?
Of Zubat? Golbat.
Yeah, there's a Golbat. There's a Venomoth. I mean, you know, it's just a bunch of random Pokemon. And then they come across this other peak, and there's this guy sitting there.
Banji.
And Sorrel recognizes him right away as the author of the book that he was looking at earlier.
Yes.
And Banji's kind of going crazy. He's like, it's faint, but I can smell a bit of Ho-Oh. And Ash goes, it could be this feather that I'm holding that's fucking glowing like crazy.
And Banji looks right at him and is like, oh my gosh, you're the chosen one. And then he goes into the whole spiel that we gave you about maybe 20 minutes ago about how Ash was given this feather as the chosen one. He can present this feather up on the top of this mountain and can summon Ho-Oh for one battle to basically fight Ho-Oh and test
I
test
have a
his skills.
question. Okay, you just kind of answered it. I was like, what is he fighting him for? Because he can't catch him.
No. but
what's he doing?
He's testing his skills.
That's what the Pokemon League's for.
and he gets to see a legendary Pokemon that nobody normally gets to see.
That he can't catch.
Yes. Hey, come on. If Pokemon were in the real world and this happened to you, Doug, you'd do the same thing.
No, I get in trouble because I try to catch him.
You'd be like, hey, I put in the code for the Master Ball. I got like a bag full of these.
Ain't nobody telling me I can't catch him. They just said it's never been done. only takes one time.
Exactly.
So then they're kind of hunting, and Pikachu and Piplup are kind of sniffing around.
And we also get a brief, 3-second, snippet of Cross is right behind them. He's been following them.
Yeah, we should mention Cross was also briefly in the library.
Yes.
So he's kind of been like one step behind them the whole time. And
he's following them because he knows about the feather, and well, we'll get there.
Right, we'll get there. And so it seems like Ash and the crew have a good where they're heading. So they take off, and Bungy's kind of sitting there because, he's old. And then we get another brief glimpse of Team Rocket climbing up the hill, or the cliff, rather. And
yes,
it's about this time. I mean, I realized it relatively soon, but there has been and there is none, so I can say it. There is a noticeable lack of Dexter in this movie.
Yes. I feel like they didn't want to have Dexter come out for every single sighting, so they had everybody but Ash seeing all these rare Pokemon, because honestly, notice how Ash is not the one that has seen any of these Pokemon besides Entei.
This is true.
So
as they're getting closer and closer to Ho-Oh,
all the Pokemon start cheering him because he's getting ready to present the feather to the stone.
He is confronted by Cross.
Yes. Cross, Lycanroc, and Incineroar.
And Incineroar jumps out first and, knocks Ash on his ass. Ash just isn't having a good time in this movie. And
Cross starts calling Ash soft again, saying that he should not be the one with the feather.
He said it should go to the best trainer, and that's clearly me. And then, Ash pulls out the feather, and you can see that the feather is clearly reacting the way it should. And Ash says, well, I'm Ash, so I want to battle, so we battle. And we get another round of Incineroar versus Charmeleon. And we can see that Charmeleon is learning, or has learned from the last time, because he's clearly leaning more into his agility. And
yeah, fucking walking on walls and shit.
I mean, it's that parkour shit. And
I blame Incineroar for this next part. Because Incineroar puts out a fucking flamethrower, makes fucking Charmeleon and Charmeleon's tail light up like 10 times as much, and then fucking Charmeleon evolves into Charizard.
And fucking once again, Cross is like, big deal. A weak Pokemon evolving is still a weak Pokemon. And I'm like, are you sure this motherfucker has wings and shit?
I'd be scared of Charizard. Because Incineroar was scared. Incineroar's face was like, I don't know if I want to fight this thing.
Like, I was all well and good when that thing couldn't really get in the air, but this motherfucker, once again, has wings. And Ash is like, use Slash, and then, you can see that he can fly out of the range of Incineroar's flamethrower. And then Ash turns around and goes, use Dragon Rage. And I said, motherfucker.
Yeah, fucking Charizard was just all sorts of beefed up and not disobeying Ash. I want to point that out.
Yeah, that's very important.
He's listening to every word that Ash is saying, and he's smiling with Ash.
And then we get to the point where Ash says, "All right, Charizard, we need to finish this off with one big move." So he flies off and
Seismic toss.
because Cross goes grab him out of the air, Incineroar, and he gets him like momentarily around the neck, and you think, oh shit, Charizard's in trouble, and then Ash just quick as a wink just reverses it into Seismic Toss. I'm going, well, that's cheap, and
Yeah.
and then throws him down, and then apparently uses every last ounce of flamethrower in his goddamn body.
He gives an Incineroar a receipt for what he did to him back then. Remember how they both did flamethrower and Incineroar engulfed Charmeleon and just bashed him? Yeah, that was Incineroar this time.
And you can clearly see that Charizard's flame is bigger and it engulfs Incineroar, and Incineroar can clearly not answer the bell and has lost this round.
Yes. And
then Ash is a prick.
Why is he a prick?
Well, because he's not a prick. He's just I'm just done. So he goes and walks by Cross, and Cross
which was his first mistake.
Because then Cross has enough time to turn around and go, I saw Ho-Oh too.
But he didn't drop a wing for me.
He goes, why are you the chosen one?
It's at this point that Ash says, I have a pure heart, and that's why he dropped it for me. So I'm going to go and put it on this stone. And fucking Cross wasn't having any of that. Cross goes, grabs the feathers right out of Ash's hand, which I don't know why Ash wasn't holding onto this thing any tighter. And
if you have a pure heart, right? Should you say out loud, I have a pure heart?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
But Cross grabbed that feather, puts it on the stone to summon Ho-Oh. But it's at this point the feather immediately turns purple and black. Because like we said about a half hour ago, the one with the bad heart cannot summon Ho-Oh, but all evil will ensue. And that's exactly what's about to happen here.
Right.
So it's at this point, now everything's turning black and purple. Marshadow comes up and picks up Cross and throws him like he was about to kill him. He was about to toss him into some stones, but luckily his Lyrican fucking picked him up to save him.
Yeah, thankfully nobody apparently believes in Pokeballs around here.
Or I said Lycan Rock. My bad. But it's at this point now, the evil is now ensuring all of the Pokemon that's around him, including Lycanroc. And Lycanroc starts attacking Cross.
Yeah, he's right on Cross and just starts going after him. And throws an attack at him, and Charizard gets in the path and blocks the attack, and Cross is stunned. He's like, you just saved my life, and freaking, I just lost the girl's name.
Who? Verity?
Yeah, I lost her name for a second. She goes, can't you see? He never forgot that you were his trainer once. And just when you think, oh, Charizard's going to have a heart, he just looks at Cross and goes, humph.
But then now, as they're all having this heart-to-heart moment, all the evil is ensuring all the Pokemon that Doug had stated about 5 minutes ago, and all of these Pokemon are now evil. And all of these Pokemon are now going and attacking Ash and Verity, Sorrel, Cross, Bonji, all the Pokemon that were with them are all now being attacked by all of these big, I'm guessing high-leveled Pokemon.
Well, I don't know if it necessarily matters once they're being possessed.
True. Well, I mean, you got to ride, just in this spot right here, you have, let's see, you have a Nidoking, a Nidoking, a Nidoqueen. You got an Electabuzz, a Rhydon, a Magmar, all getting ready to what looks like use their biggest moves that each one of them has, which looks like they're all solar beams, and just about to obliterate them.
And you can see the group's Pokemon trying to fend off the possessed Pokemon, and then you can see Cross is literally battling like hand in hand with his what do you call him? Lycanroc.
Lycanroc.
Lycanroc. And
To the point where Lycanroc actually goes and bites the mess out of Cross.
he bites him, and then apropos of nothing else, Cross goes, "Remember, you bit me the first day I met you." Like, we're supposed to know that.
No, I know.
Bullshit. And apparently, Cross screaming at Lycanroc to remember is enough for Lycanroc to snap out of it, which, is a nice moment, but it's not earned.
Yeah, it's not earned at all. And it's at this point, Marshadow goes up and grabs the feather and takes the feather away that from the top of this mountain because I was starting to think that Marshadow was a bad Pokemon. Like it wanted all of this to happen. But Marshadow is actually a good Pokemon and trying to correct all of this.
Well, and I mean, I think you're forgiven for thinking that because everything that's been leading up to this moment, all you've been seeing of Marshadow is him lurking in the shadow.
Yes.
So him and Pikachu kind of have a one-on-one.
A one-on-one battle, yeah. And Marshadow was whooping some ass on Pikachu. They have this big old battle, and it gets to the point where Marshadow, I don't know what move this is, but he brought out some Dragon Ball Z type shit and was just Kamea waving all these damn like balls at Pikachu. Pikachu blocks these and gives one big thunder attack that goes into the sky down on Marshadow. Marshadow gets blown, and Marshadow does one of those like old movie where he falls to his knees and is like, okay, I'm done.
And we have this big meeting of energy and this big explosion, and you think, like you said, you think Marshadow's down for the count because the smoke has clearly settled and the fight is over, but we can see that the possessed Pokemon are still advancing on Ash and Pikachu, and there's really nowhere for them to go because in the other direction there's this
Big
certain death drop.
It looks like the cliff from The Lion King. So if you think of like the rock that Simba goes on that he was presented on, that's what we're looking at. It's this high cliff that looks just like that. So Ash picks up Pikachu, who can no longer even stand after giving its big thunder attack, goes over to the edge of this rock, and all these Pokemon that were following him just blast Ash, and then they immediately go over to Verity and Sorrel and Cross looking for Ash, and they all see Ash just get blown to smithereens. And this is where it kind of shook me. This part is the part that got me.
Yeah, because you can see in the collision, Ash and Pikachu have been separated, and Ash tries for one final time to roll out his Pikachu's Pokeball and say, "Pikachu, I know you don't like to go in there, but if you go in there right now,
you'll at least be safe.
You'll be safe." And he stands in front of all these possessed Pokemon, and he, just offers himself as a martyr for all this energy and all these attacks. And in a mirroring attempt at the pilot episode, where Ash is standing looking for the Fearow and Spearow attack, Pikachu tries to do the hero jump, but this time, for whatever fucking reason, Ash decides, I'm going to catch him. And, because you don't get it. And he grabs him and, like, tries to shield him. And, they're laying there basically accepting death at this point. Because these Pokemon are charged up. Or charging up, rather. And Ash goes, Pikachu, I don't understand. Why won't you go in the Pokeball? And as Ash is fading into unconsciousness, you hear Pikachu's voice go, it's because I always want to be close to you. And Ash has this momentary realization of, wait a minute, you can fucking talk. And then it's about that point that all this energy just goes, bam, and just fucking... And with his last possible ounce of energy, Ash gets Pikachu into the Pokeball at the very last possible second, shields him from the blast, just long enough for the Pokeball to land, Pikachu to come out of the Pokeball, and as Pikachu's coming out of the Pokeball, Ash's hat lands on his head, just in enough time for Pikachu to look over and see Ash fading into nothing.
Yes, Ash is dead at this
deader
point.
Than he was, deader than he's gonna be in the first movie.
Like he legit died. Like
he's gone. Like he's nothing.
Yeah. He's a ghost, and the particles of his body is now being lifted into the heavens.
And Pikachu lets out one desperate, final, furious cry and thunder wave. It just shocks every possessed Pokemon out of existence and snaps them back to normal, brings the color back to the world, and he's just fucking bawling, and he's got the hat, and the hat's all tore up, and
oh, man.
Pikachu's all tore up, and then he gives out one big Pika into the clouds, and then we get another fucking hazy gray dream sequence with Ash coming to and wherever his world is.
Yeah, Ash is now dead, and he's basically in a world now looking at Pikachu in the real world, but this time everything is back to being in black and white. So Ash is seeing all this stuff and just looking around, not realizing that he's dead.
And, we have this shot of Pikachu can hear Ash in his world, and then Ash can see Pikachu or hear Pikachu in his world, and he's running. And we get the recurring line of, we used to run like this all the time, which is a line that we got during the original regular school sequence that we did kind of skate over because there was some other shit going on.
Yes.
So this is the second time we've gotten it, and we see Ash running through the same field that they were running through in the intro, and all the color is in the field, but there's no color in the sky.
And no color on him.
And then, no color on him, and then we have this quick transition of, it looks like Ash is running across the ocean, which might make him Jesus, I'm not sure. And then we can kind of see this burst of energy starting to form in front of Pikachu, and Pikachu's kind of getting the idea, and he drops the hat, and he jumps into the void. And everybody's kind of because everybody can see the void at this point. Everybody's like, what the fuck is going on here? And, Pikachu jumps into the void, and he's falling, and we see that he's going to fall into Ash's arms, and Ash sees Pikachu, and he's going to catch him, and they fucking reunite, and there's this big fucking, everybody's hugging, everybody's happy. And then we cut back to reality, and the void's still going on, and people are still standing there gobsmacked, and then all of a sudden there's Pikachu and Ash just reunited, and everything's right in the world again.
Oh, man. Like, I can tell that this scene got to you because you ran through that perfectly.
This movie kind of sucks.
Had you all sorts of tearing up. But it's at this point now that, okay, so Ash now has back the rainbow feather.
Yes.
And Marshadow is now gone.
Yeah, he fades back into the ground.
And Ash runs over like nothing's happened, like he's not hurt or anything, and to this big rock. It's not like you didn't just die, and presents the feather to the stone, and the stone creates this big old rainbow. And at the end of the rainbow is Ho-Oh, and Ho-Oh finally appears. And everyone is looking at Ho-Oh in awe. Banji comes out and he's like, the one who guided by the rainbow may meet Ho-Oh and become the rainbow hero. And Ash goes, yeah, that's me. And Pikachu's like, Pika! And Ho-Oh finally comes back. Team Rocket's still climbing up, and they're waving at Ho-Oh. And Meowth is an idiot and lets go of the rock and covers them back down.
And that's the end of them. That's them for the movie until the fucking credits.
So Ho-Oh comes in and makes his big old. I can just imagine this on the big screen. So Ho-Oh comes in and makes his big appearance and putting the life into everything and the light everywhere, and he's healing all the Pokemon that's been hurt. And it's at this point now Ho-Oh comes down, sits on top of the stone, and Ash looks at him and challenges him.
He goes, let's have a battle, because never mind the fact that I just died. It's a real quick line, but
yes.
So all the energy is coming back to the world, and we get this real quick shot of Banji going, "This is the power of Ho-Oh," and I'm going, all right, this dude needs to go to decaf. What the fuck?
Well, he's just. Can you imagine though? Like, I'm gonna pause the movie just for a second, but they literally, within 5 minutes, they were in battle for their lives. They saw their best friend die. They saw their best friend come back to fucking life. They saw fucking Ho-Oh come out of the fucking skies, and now they're about to see fucking Ho-Oh battle Pikachu. Like, this is all within the span of 5 freaking minutes. So
the battle is basically what you would expect. I mean, Pikachu at this point is clearly overpowered because he's going tooth and nail with this Ho-Oh. He does have to dodge behind a rock at one point, which I thought was pretty slick because, like, you usually see Pikachu usually kind of just take shit.
Yes.
And Pikachu's like, no, I'm going to have to duck behind a rock here because I don't know if I can take this shit. And, it's a clash of energies, which we've seen like 3 other times in this movie. And it kind of fades out.
Yeah.
And we see that the battle's still going on at the base of the rainbow. We'll really get a conclusion
as to what actually happened. But it does seem like Pikachu held its own against Ho-Oh for a long time, because as it's fading out, you just see an electric attack, fire attack, electric attack, fire attack. And then we basically fade out to Ash walking into the Pokemon Center.
Yeah, we get this really cute scene of, Pikachu jumping off of Ash's shoulder onto the counter, and Nurse Joy looks down and goes, "Oh, look, you've been battling again. Who was it this time?" And Ash just kind of absentmindedly, like it's every other fucking Wednesday, goes, "Oh, it was Ho-Oh." And Nurse Joy goes, "Oh, sure it was. Yeah, sure. Huh?"
Because she wasn't listening to him. I take it that's her line for all trainers. What happened now? And nobody ever says Ho-Oh.
And, Pikachu's just happy. And I noticed that Nurse Joy doesn't have crosses.
Yes.
It's like a circular symbol.
Yeah, it was a Pokeball.
Yeah, I looked this time because Nurse Joy, she's gonna have different. Nope, just they fucked with me. They said here's Ash's different hat and Nurse Joy's different. So fuck off.
So, and then after that, we go back to Banji sitting on top of a cliff because his life is now complete, and he goes, somewhere in the world there's a new trainer, soon to be the Rainbow Hero. So basically, now that Ash has completed his part of the journey with getting Ho-Oh, it's now another trainer's job to go up there and do the exact same thing. So,
so then we kind of get the goodbye scene for Cross.
I have one question right before we do that, Doug. Why didn't Ho-Oh heal Pikachu at the end of their battle?
There's honor in battle scars.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know, but it sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good. So let's go with it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, yeah, as you were saying, Doug, we get the goodbye with Cross, which I still wouldn't be saying goodbye to this motherfucker.
Yeah, even though he did a fucking face turn with 5 minutes left in the movie, he doesn't deserve a goodbye scene. So, but he goes his separate way, and then we get the...
He's the reason Ash died.
He is the reason. But, you know, he turned babyface, so we're supposed to forgive him. And then we get our trio going their separate ways.
At the crossroads.
Sorrel says he's going to go on his way, study more to become a professor. I lost the girl's name again.
Verity.
Says she's going to go home and see her mom because something we kind of glossed over was apparently her mom was a famous Pokemon trainer, but wasn't really giving her the time of day because nothing she could do was good enough for her mom's attention. She was kind of excited that she saw Suicune. Well, I mean, obviously Ho-Oh too, but Suicune. So she's like, I can't wait to tell Ma because she'll never fucking believe me. Maybe I'll get fucking her attention for 5 minutes.
Wouldn't it be some shit that she finally gets home and her mother's like, yeah, I'm sure you really did see Suicune and Ho-Oh and Tay. Oh, I'm sure. All right.
But you didn't get pictures even though you're attached to your fucking phone 24/7?
Yeah, go sit down somewhere.
And then they go, what are you going to do, Ash? And Ash goes, well, I'm just going to go
become a Pokemon master.
And then as we're fading away, our final little shot is them all three saying, and then we can have a battle, and everybody has a good time because nothing really matters.
So, and that's the end of the movie because after that happens, we get a little bit of updates as to all the trainers in different towns, and it's a classic little scene of all these Pokemon. You get a bunch of rare Pokemon. You get starter Pokemon for Sun and Moon. You get, let's see, I'm not going to go through all of this, but you get an
update on Ash's mom, who apparently is still just a homemaker.
Yep, and you get the legendaries from Black and White. So, yeah, you get everything. And it goes straight from there to Ash and Pikachu running in a field. And it fades away with a rainbow, which is Ho-Oh. And then we go to the credits where we finally get Brock, Misty, Ash, May, Max. Like everybody that's ever been in the series is now in the credits.
And not to nitpick, but I mean, we're basically done. You said Ash when I think you meant Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy. My bad. You get Tracy.
No Gary.
No Gary. But because he was in the movie.
So
he
was in the movie. His fucking head was in.
I found out as of this week. So the owner of Pokemon came out and he was asked about why they changed. They brought in Tracy into the series and took out Brock. So Brock was originally never supposed to return.
I see. Oh, so he was supposed to be done.
Yeah, he was done. So, because Ash gets new partners every single season in Pokemon, he gets someone new to follow him. So, and Brock wasn't supposed to come back, but the reason they took him out was because I guess they feared that he was going to be looked as a racist character here in the states of the U.S.
Oh, boy.
And then when the outcry came for Brock to come back, that is why they brought him back. And he has been the most reoccurring character in the Pokemon series to follow Ash.
I see.
So that's a little bit of tidbit news that came out earlier this week. I wanted to wait until this movie to actually say it. So yeah, but holy fuck, that's our first movie, bro. We got 19 more. Well, there's more than that now, but as of this movie, there's 19 more that we got to review.
And just in case you're curious, yes, this movie apparently has a sequel that is also on Netflix.
Yes.
The
Power of Us.
And I don't know when you want to do that. I don't know when I want to do that. Because quite frankly, I'm just happy to have this one done.
We'll get to it at a later time, because that has different characters that they actually bring into the series later on. So we're probably about 2 years away from doing that movie. So you're at least getting part 1 right now. So,
but just know that there is a sequel and all is well.
Yes. And the next movie that we will be doing 100%, the next big special, is going to be Mewtwo Strikes Back, Pokemon the first movie.
But just giving everybody fair warning now, because let's not spring it on people. You're going to have to pay for that one.
Yes, that's going to be behind the Patreon wall. And it's only $5 a month. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you like this movie, because it looks like as of the time you're hearing this, probably in about another 3 months, we're going to have the Pokemon the first movie. So
I'm not going to have anything more if I don't get this plugged in real quick. Oh shit!
I can tell.
I look down and I say, "What's flashing?" Oh, your battery, you idiot!
I heard it in your audio for like the past 60 seconds, so I could tell. So I was like, "Oh shit!" But yes, everybody, that's going to be the next movie. We are going to continue. So next week will be the first episodes of 2021. We're going to start the trilogy of Ash getting his Marsh badge.
That's so fucked. This is why we're so fucked, because we've done that.
Yes, we've already recorded that episode. It's already up in the feed, ready to drop. So yeah, we
just to fuck with everybody. The next time we record, because we're recording this on the 29th of October.
Yes.
It's about to be the 30th, but that's neither here nor there. It's the 29th of October, and the next time we record, because if people know their calendar, we're not recording when we're supposed to record, because there's a little thing called an election, which, again, you people know the results to, so...
Yes.
Spoil them if you can. If you can, I want to know how. So the next time we record, we're actually going to be joined with somebody.
Yes, we're going to have the first of, and as of this time, we have 2 people booked for as special guests. So our next special guest is actually a Twitch star. So he will be making his appearance next week. Well, no, not next week.
Don't do that. Don't do that to
him. He'll be making his appearance in 4 weeks from the time that you're listening to this podcast, but we are recording with him in 2 weeks. There we go. There we go. It's so fucked. But yeah,
our brains are slowly melting, so I think this is about as good a time as any.
So Doug, I want to, I hope you can hear that clap, because we are done with our first movie, bro, and we have many more to go on this long adventure, and I'm glad we decided that we wanted to go down this Pokemon adventure, because it's been fun so far. So
it has.
So
I'm excited to get back at it here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It's going to be weird taking a Tuesday off.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I won't be able to think about Pokemon because the world could potentially be on fire.
So, do you have anything else to say, Doug, or anything else to add?
No, I mean, I want to thank people for listening to this episode because it's probably the longest episode we've ever put out. I mean, hopefully it is, for goodness sakes. We went
Oh,
over an hour and a half movie.
yeah, we're sitting at 2 hours and 23 minutes.
That's on the call.
Yeah, but we remember we started this call up only 3 minutes prior to us actually getting in, so about 2 hours and 20 minutes right now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not going to, because there's a little bit you can cut. I don't, oh, shit. All right, that's long enough. We can let, no, but seriously, thank you for listening. If you made it to this point, you deserve a gold star.
If I can give them out to you, I would.
Hopefully you do consider signing up to the Patreon because, you know, I'm not going to get too into the weeds because I'm not 100% sure about it, but at a certain point, certain episodes are going to stop dropping off of the free feed
Yes.
that are only going to be available through the Patreon. So if for some reason you're listening to this but you're not caught up, what the fuck are you doing?
Exactly.
And you know, we're toying around with some ideas for the future in terms of a Patreon release schedule. We have not locked anything down, so we're not going to make any more announcements.
No. But let's just put out there that we have some perks that you're going to be getting along with movies. So the Patreon will definitely, if you're enjoying this podcast, Patreon is definitely the place that you're going to want to go to get all of your Pokemon feel. So,
But so on that note, I think it is time to start circling the wagons and get on out of here.
all right. So say goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
And I want to thank everybody for ending 2020 on a high note with this movie. So have a good night, everybody, and we will see you next week in 2021.